All right, so we're going to get started. Again, this is section 1, chapter 1. This is just solving basics. Again, the good news is two-step equations. So hopefully earlier on the last chapter, but for these, there are some that are a little bit different. So just make sure you're being careful, paying attention, don't go too quickly. So, and again, some of you guys now, the good news is, now some of you guys know, if you're not very good at this, I would definitely encourage you guys to put that line in. Again, you don't have to by any means, but if you're struggling, that's not a bad idea. Because a lot of people, what they are doing wrong is they're subtracting 3p from both of these, and that's not right. And if you make that line in the middle, and then you get address this well enough, if you put that, remember, if you do something on the right-hand side, you also have to do it on the left-hand side. We just subtracted 3p twice from this side, and we didn't do it at all from this side. If we did here twice, you could do that, and it just wouldn't really help you much. But you got to keep things balanced. And there's actually another thing I'll show you guys with number 4 that is, I thought of this, and it's a little bit, it adds an extra step. We'll talk about that in a second. So instead, use combined terms. So before I cancel anything and take any other side of the equal sign, I want to combine all my like terms. So 5p plus 3p is 8p. And again, you just add those together. It's 5 plus 8. We're not canceling anything. We don't need to subtract anything to cancel any of that stuff. Add those together if they're on the same side. Yep, we don't do anything with it. Equation, and this will happen on every problem today, but this is the step where there's actually 4 different things you can do, and you get the right answer with each one of those. So you could do this differently, that's fine. I only like to combine my variables first. I do that so I have a positive, and that's just personal preference. You can do it however you want. To a two-step equation at 8. 1 plus 8 is 7 is equal to 17. Divide both sides by 7, you get p is equal to 1. Now again, I know a lot of you guys don't like to take the time to do this. That is completely on you. But those of you who are really struggling with just getting that 60%, that you're willing to work for it, I would plug my answers in and double check. Now the good thing is, I think a lot of reasons people don't do that is because it takes a while. But if you have a calculator, you can just type it in. You just type in 5 times 1 plus 3 times 1 minus 8 and hit enter. It'll give you that part. That's 0. Put that in a calculator. That's also 0. So 0 is equal to 0. So you know you got it right. And I know a lot of you guys won't do that, but I still encourage you guys to use your calculator and do that. Especially, again, that's one of those things that if you feel like you're not good at math, that's one of those things you can work a little bit harder. That's one of those examples, and that'll help you. So we did a couple of these like number 2, but this one you need to distribute first with those parentheses. So this part we didn't do anything with. 5n plus 34 is equal to negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 times 7, negative 2 times negative 7 is positive 14, and then the n. Different things you can do when you're doing first. I'm going to subtract my 5n. So subtract that from both sides. 2, 14 minus. N, and then last divide by 9. You can put that in your calculator exactly how you see it. Your calculators have parentheses, they have fraction buttons, they have a lot of that stuff. So by all means, you could put that in literally exactly how you see it. Check your work. The next one, we like this, and this is and again, this is where some students are just going too quickly, or some just kind of don't know what to do. If it helps you, remember, it's kind of the same. Put that in there to help you. But you have to distribute that negative just like we distributed that other one in this other problem. Just like we did the -2 to everything. Is equal to -n, -1n minus 4. 4 to both sides. -4 is equal to -10. And then to get rid of that negative, this still not the right answer yet. Some people make that mistake. You got to get rid of that negative to get the n by itself. I do that by dividing by -1. Technically, you can multiply, but I think that makes it confusing. The answer for this one is 4. Now, again, that was not technical, but the big thing that people miss is they forget what to do with just the negative. Or they just take it with the n to the 4. Make sure you're doing that. So I will show you something that I am starting to do different with this one. And again, most of you guys will not do this, but if you're looking for something to help you out, I strongly encourage it. The first thing we're going to do is distribute both to -5. -5 times -5x is positive 25x. Times -8 is -40. X times -2 is -10. And -x minus 8x we didn't do anything with. This is what I added. I did this in the answer key. This is an extra step that, again, it does take a little bit of time. Most of you guys do not have to do that. Is that the bell? We'll start there once we get back. All right. So we were in the middle of this problem. I distributed out that -5 and that +5. So this is the step that, again, you certainly don't have to do it. I personally wouldn't do it. But if I were one of those people that would, if you were looking at this and the first thing you would do is try to add this 40x and this 25x like this, that's one of the problems, or if that's something you've been doing. What I started doing is I rewrite this and I put everything together. So I don't do anything right now, I just move stuff around. So I make the 25x and the 40, I put those side by side, and then the -5 and the -10 side by side. So I didn't change anything. Terms are right next to each other. The reason I do that is because I think it makes a little to see, oh, I'm not adding 40 to both of those. I'm not adding 25. I'm just taking 25 minus 40. Minus 40 is -15. Same, -5 minus 10. Now it's a little bit easier to look at. That's just -15. Minus 8 is -12x. Again, you do not have to do that step a lot as the part of the math goes, but it does help a little bit with from here, add 15x to both sides. So I have negative equal to -12 plus 15 is +3. Divide both sides by 3. X is equal to -5. Again, you could type that in your calculator. Your calculator has parentheses, so you could type in -5 parenthesis 1 minus 5 times -5 parenthesis plus 5 parenthesis -8 times negative. You can type it in exactly like that to get the to check your work. It would take that long. Any questions before I have you guys do the you do part? All right, go ahead and do these on your own. All right, so those are the answers. Number 6. Number 6 is a good example. This step is that extra one where I took the -7 and the 6, and I put those right next to each other. I took the -1 and the 42, I put those right next to each other. And certainly not like a requirement by any means. If you don't do that, I'm not going to count you off. But I do think, again, the most common mistake with this one was adding 7j to the 6j and having 13j. So if that has happened to you, I would strongly recommend doing that extra step. The other thing I will tell you is I know earlier, but we did not do, or we didn't do very many, if we did any, that were this long. And the people that miss these problems when they're two people that normally miss these problems, or statistically. The people that miss it the most do it. Obviously, yeah, that is going to make you not do well. The people that also miss it, probably second most, is the people that are really good at this, and they just go too quickly. So they miss little things. They miss that this is a -7 instead of a +7, or they miss where they add those together and they get the -1, or they forget the negative here, or something like that. They just miss some of those little things. So make sure you take your time. Make sure you double check things. You do not need to rush through stuff. I mean, that last test, I tried to make it so you guys could finish in time, and there are people that finished in 10 minutes. The next test will probably be a little bit longer, but again, I'm still trying to err on the side of making it shorter rather than longer. Okay. Any questions on those before we move on? So, moving on, we have these special cases. Now, here's the deal. This is what I said. I don't know why it's lagging. Or if you look at the quiz or the test, it said, what are the solutions for the problems that end like this? So I never had you do a problem that is like this for a review. Better idea to teach you how to solve, and then to teach you how to do when they end like this, but I didn't teach you anything in the middle. I didn't teach you how to solve problems that were like this. So if you were a little bit confused when I said there's no x's in this, they all keep so we have 24 is equal to 24, there's no variables in here, this is what we're talking about. So first off, you guys should know those first three pretty well because we've done those a bunch. They're on the quiz and the test. This 24 is equal to 24, that's true. So that one is all real numbers. That's not true at all, that's false, so that's no solution. And even if it's magnified, that's not true at all. One's negative, one's positive. So that one's false, so that one's also no solution. That's all stuff that we've done. Now the next ones, we've done it in the fact that we've done solving problems, but we haven't had any solving ones that end up like this. So, number 7, I'm going to try to do that one. And distribute by 4, so we have 4x minus 12 is equal to, if you combine your like terms, x's together, my 5 and my 17, again, most of you guys can skip that, that's fine. End up 4x minus 12 is equal to 2 plus 2 is 4, so 4x. 5 minus 17 is negative 12. 4 different options to do. So far, I want to make sure you realize we haven't done anything different. We've done nothing different from what we did the whole lesson. Combine my variables first. You do not have to do it this way. And here's where it gets a little bit fishy. 4x minus 4x. The reason I did that is because it cancels. That's the whole idea. Positive 4x minus 4x cancels. People, I guess, for me, how many people say, okay, so 4x minus 4x cancels over here, but over here this has x. That doesn't make any sense. Now, you know, again, I know people don't like math, but you have to appreciate that the rules don't even be that way. You cannot have 4x minus 4x cancel on one side, but they don't cancel on the other side. So, the whole punchline is that 4x minus 4x cancels, so does the 4x minus 4x on the other side. You end with negative 12 is equal to negative 12. That's what we're looking at. That's the point you should already know how to do from that last review chapter. You don't have any variables left, so that's the key. If all your variables cancel, you don't have any variables in your answer, then it's either going to be all the solution. Negative 12 is equal to negative 12, so that one is true, so it's all real numbers. Now, just in case you wonder what that means, I didn't talk about this in my other class. You know how we say that you can plug your answer back in? You should get like 6 is equal to 10 or 4 is equal to 4 or something like that, where they're equal to each other. That's how you check your work. What number you plug in, you can plug in any number, you'll get both of them equal to each other. So you can plug in 400. 400 minus 3, multiply that by 4, 2 times 400 plus 5, plus 2 times 400 minus 17. Those will be the exact same number. That's the whole idea. All real numbers means any number you plug in will make that work. take that 2 and distribute that. So we have 2x plus 5 is equal to 2x minus 20. 2x from both sides. Again, you could add 20. That doesn't make any difference. 2x's cancel, so variables cancel, and I'm left with 5 is equal to negative 20, which you guys all know now is false. That's not true. So this is no solution. And again, what that means for what number you plug in for x, it doesn't make any difference. You will never get both those sides to be equal to each other. Now, the thing that's hard about these problems is, I mean, sometimes in multiple choice, sometimes it's given away a little bit. But a lot of times, like on your worksheet, they're just peppered in the normal problems. So you'll be doing these normal problems. You look x equals 10, x equals 4, x equals negative 5, and then all of a sudden you'll have one that's no solution. So you have to make sure you're being careful with that and staying on your toes. That's, I would say, is the hard part of this. X plus 2. X plus 6 minus terms of 2. And this a lot of people think, oh, so I have 3x here and 3x here and they'll cancel. How does negative 3x plus 3x cancel? A positive and a positive doesn't also cancel. That doesn't make sense. So that's the whole thing. This cancels, that's fine. So we have 2 equal to 6x plus 2. First thing is kind of unique about this one. And I'm going to tell myself that last year, the lesson I did it on purpose, but we all know it's probably not true. Also, another one with this, and we talked about it a little bit. When you subtract 2 from both sides, those 2 will cancel. That's fine. The 2's can cancel. We don't care about that. That's a variable. 0 is equal to 6x. Divide both sides by 6, you get x is equal to 0. That is absolutely fine. Remember, in the review chapter, I had these where I give you these problems. I had to say 24 is equal to 24, 12 is equal to 18, and then I have one that says x is equal to 0. And you guys say, well, what do I write down for that? And I said, don't worry, you won't have that on the test. I'm just trying to plant that seed. The reason is because once people start doing these no solution and all real numbers, they get to number 9 and they see that these cancel. And they think, oh, well, it cancels, you get 0, so it's no solution. No, you get 0 as a solution. X is equal to 0 is just like any other number. Again, I guess I'll check my work. That's because I always. So keep that in mind. So go ahead and do the next 3 on your own. When you're done with that, you can start working on the worksheet. I will put my answers up here in a second. And there isn't not an exit ticket this year. Homework check over this. If you haven't checked your answers, I strongly suggest, even if you're done, I would check those quick because, again, nothing worse than you think you know what you're doing and then you're doing it wrong. That's certainly happened to me before. Again, make sure you're taking that exit ticket or the homework check. Remember, I'm doing those homework checks. I'm updating the grades about twice a week. So I know a whole slew of people yesterday did a 0.5 because they did it was late because I put it in a 0. It'll get in there. Just wait till next week, probably like Monday, Tuesday. I'll try to update that.